Rochester police have released the identities of the victims who died during the crash outside the Kodak Center on New Year's Day. 28-year-old Justina Hughes from Geneva and 29-year-old Joshua Orr from Webster were passengers of that vehicle that was struck. We received statements from the families remembering Hughes and Orr, thanking the first responders and asking for privacy during this difficult time. Now, police say Syracuse resident Michael Avery allegedly came to the Rochester area and rented a vehicle and bought several gas cans prior to the crime. Investigators insisted this was not the work of a domestic terrorist, although mental illness may have played a role. Avery also died last night. We have team coverage beginning with Isabel Garcia, who joins us live from outside the Kodak Center with the latest developments from law enforcement. Isabel.
Yes, good evening to you, Teresa. Rochester Police Chief David Smith addressed several details today surrounding this investigation. And while it has been confirmed that the Joint Terrorism Task Force is assisting with all of this, there's this as more than a dozen gas canisters were discovered in and around the striking vehicle. The FBI and Rochester Police are being very careful to say this is not currently being investigated as an act of terrorism at this time. And this disputing widespread reports circulating within the last 24 hours. New details from authorities Tuesday in the overnight New Year's Day tragedy outside the Kodak Center following a rock concert. 35-year-old Michael Avery of Syracuse was behind the wheel of a Ford Expedition when police say he suddenly sped up about 500 feet before a pedestrian crosswalk on West Ridge Road. The Ford struck a Mitsubishi operating as a rideshare car where 2 passengers died. At least 9 pedestrians were injured, with at least 1 victim suffering life-altering injuries. Rochester Police Chief David Smith says the preliminary investigation is revealing Avery drove from Syracuse and checked into the Wood Springs Suites in Greece on December 27th, then rented the Ford at a rental company at the Rochester airport 2 days later.
On December 30th, between 9 a.m. until about 6 p.m., Avery made at least a half dozen purchases of gasoline and gas containers from different locations throughout the Monroe County and Ontario County areas.
I can confirm our Joint Terrorism Task Force is involved, but that's not abnormal in a case like this. What I can tell you is so far we've uncovered no evidence of an ideology and no nexus to terrorism, either international or domestic, so far in the investigation.
According to Chief Smith, the FBI and SWAT team raided the hotel room where Avery was staying, as well as his personal car located at the airport parking garage. No suicide note was recovered, and police add it appears in talking with Avery's family, he may have been suffering from undiagnosed mental health problems. Authorities on Tuesday also addressing the gas cans of fuel, again disputing reports circulating in the past 24 hours.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there, a lot of articles, things that we're seeing that, are inflammatory. There were cans of gasoline that he used to ignite the vehicle.
The chief and the assistant special agent in charge you heard from as well, Jeremy Bell with the FBI out of the Buffalo field office, also noted during that news conference this morning there is no indication of anybody else being involved, any indication Avery was traveling with anyone when he purchased those gas canisters, nor any connections to any larger plot. Now, police are, of course, asking for anyone with information either regarding Avery or the incident itself to please reach out to the Major Crimes Unit, as, of course, this remains a very active investigation. For now, we'll send things right back to you at the desk. Reporting live in Rochester, Isabel Garcia, News 8.
All right, Isabel, thank you. Continuing our team coverage, Dan Gross is in the studio with us now. Dan, I know you spoke with 2 people who were at that show and saw the flames. Dan.
Yeah, Teresa, I spoke with 2 men, both of whom were visiting Rochester just to see the show, and then I heard from them what happened as they were leaving the concert. Joe Placidi is from Erie, Pennsylvania, who made the drive just to see Mo. He and his friends left the show early to beat traffic. He said he spoke with an officer helping people to cross the street and then went to find his car.
Suddenly you just see this giant firewall rise up. It was like something out of a movie, like out of an action movie. People started screaming, and we saw, a bunch of people running by the wreckage, and the one car, the SUV, was just completely engulfed in flames.
Kevin Curtin lives in Vermont, but keeps a second home in Alfred. He works in part as a mental health counselor. He went to see this show with his 19-year-old son and his friend. They stayed until the end of the show, spirits high. And as they were filing out, the fire alarm went off.
As soon as we got down to the second level, the security sort of filed us into a larger general room. But then we started hearing people screaming like there's a car on fire, there's cars exploding. Someone from security made an announcement that we're sheltering in place. It was a scary situation. It could have been a lot worse. It is very sad given the loss of life.
Curtin tells us that he is checking in with his son regularly as they process this event. It's a good reminder for everyone else out there to do the same. Reporting in the studio, Dan Gross, News 8.
All right, Dan, thank you for that. The band Mo posted this response online. Sunday night's events outside the Kodak Center have left us all in profound shock and sadness. On a night that was meant for celebration and togetherness, we are faced instead with a tragedy that defies understanding. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of those who lost their lives, and our thoughts are with those who were injured.